So one last thing in this mild spoiler section I want to mention is to explain why we keep saying depressing. Like, I asked Pablo to write down disappointments he's experienced in his life.
Yes.
And why did I do that was that this book was another one of those.
Okay.
So on my list, I wrote down that one of my life disappointments, by which I mean a truth that you learned and was like, oh, this is true. Like when you know this feeling, you learn something really true and you cannot do anything about it. And one of those things, as an example, for me was that my parents don't know anything. Like everything, sorry, not anything. like when you're growing up and you look up to your parents or to somebody, or you have an idol, and then you're like, oh, they are just people, and you're like, oh, they're idiots.
Yeah.
By which I don't mean parents, but I mean like okay.
Yeah, like everyone, like they're normal people.
So that's one of those like hard truths. So like
Yeah. One of my biggest disappointments in life was actually very much related to this story, which is I wrote like I'll never go to space in my notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. Like, it's not true. Like, it's not so relevant. What I mean by that is the more I study about space and the more we learn about space, the more I understand that, for example, the whole idea of humanity moving to different solar systems is impossible. And
yeah, that's another of those truths that you learn.
Yeah, you learn that like physics has hard limits and there's just nothing you can do. Like, it's not a matter of like, oh, we need to find a no. There's no solution. Yeah. This book is like really focuses on that, especially in the third book. Yeah. It's one of the most relevant points for the third book is hard limits of physics.
That's really like a high concept sci-fi, which those disappointing moments are in there. But I found many disappointing moments for me, like despair, existential dread inducing. Like another like hard truths I wrote down to prepare was even though you try as much as you can and you do everything correct and there aren't any mistakes or drawbacks, you can still fail.
Yes.
So that's another thing you learn. Like it's like, okay, so I did everything and this happens in everybody's life.
Yeah, I had something similar, which is other people are better than me. I mean, that's true because like when you're a child, like you don't know your limits, right? You just feel like for me personally, like the idea was always like if I'm not the best, it's because I'm not working hard enough. But then you start to realize that just some people are just better than you, and like you can play basketball and train as hard as you want, but some people are just better, and you will never be better than them, even if you work 10 times harder, and it's just a bullshit.
Okay,
you can like
that's yes, yeah. I agree.
I mean, of course, hard work is important. I don't want to undermine that, but yeah, other people are better than you.
Yeah, so just to give an example why we keep saying it's depressing. So in this book, these kind of feelings were so often. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I feel like, especially in the second and third